Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, 10 minutes away from 8 o'clock. And your next chance at Fest, a trip to Montreal for the Osheaga Music Festival and Riot Fest one-day tickets just for qualifying. That is at 8. Before we get there, we had a conversation about kangaroos and how deadly they can be yesterday relating to a story. Then Case called Lincoln Park Zoo and Brookfield Zoo. Tried to get a kangaroo expert on the air, which is something in his job title he probably never thought would be happening. How he did not get a kangaroo expert on the air is the story this morning, which we'll have after we give you that keyword and after Weezer. So just about, 10 minutes away, a little bit after 10 minutes away. But first, we have to get you there on how we got on the conversation of needing a kangaroo expert on the show. Let's go back to yesterday's show. A South Carolina petting zoo worker was apparently killed by a kangaroo after stepping into its pen to, quote, roughhouse with it.
People have to stop messing with kangaroos.
They're evil.
You also have to get behind one. If you're ever getting attacked, immediately get behind it.
Why?
They can't jump backwards. If you're getting attacked, I'm serious. If you're getting attacked by a kangaroo, you get behind it.
Why can't they turn around?
Yeah, but then you have the upper hand because they can't. By the time they turn around, you can just keep getting behind it.
So I'll use my ninja skills when they turn around on me and I'm ready to go?
No, dude, keep following it, you idiot. Use your legs.
At some point, I'm going to tire out before the kangaroo.
Well, that's a you problem.
And keep turning in a circle.
This is your best chance.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
She gave you a great survival tip and you laughed at her. When you get attacked by a kangaroo and get pummeled to death, Kenzie's going to be the one laughing.
Exactly. Get behind it.
I'll be thinking about getting behind it, and you know what's going to happen? It's not going to work. And I'm going to go, damn it, Kenzie.
What do you mean it's not going to work?
He'll be stepping those huge feet on my face. I'm going like, Kenzie, we're talking about getting behind it.
Okay, you know what? First of all, if you got in this situation, you'll leave yourself to blame. I'm not putting you anywhere near a kangaroo. And second, if you can't utilize the tip I gave you, that's your fault. Just because you're not fast enough.
You're not giving me a closure on it. You're saying get behind the kangaroo. Yeah. Then what?
It can't get backwards.
So it's going to sit there and go like, boy, where'd he go?
Well, if it disassociates for a second, then you can run.
Yeah. You think a kangaroo is going to go like, that guy's a magician. He's magic. He teleported behind. Where'd he go?
Also, imagine being in a fight with a kangaroo. You're fighting a kangaroo.
Yeah.
You step behind it. So you got the advantage because you're behind it.
Thank God. Can't jump backwards.
But then the kangaroo turns around and you're running away and a kangaroo is chasing you. Can you imagine a more terrifying visual?
And also the kangaroo kind of going, this a-hole thought he was going to get away from me by getting behind me.
Look how this dude's got no chance.
Look how slow he is. He'd laugh for
Okay,
probably
these
like
are
10 minutes.
your problems. Long term, if you're too scared to run, is just stay behind him.
I'm not scared. A kangaroo can run 16 miles an hour, but up to speeds of 44, it can actually accelerate to.
Oh my God. You're dead. You're so dead if you try to fight a kangaroo.
I could probably stay pretty good at 13 miles an hour for a while, but then when he puts when he hits the nos, like in Fast and Furious, it goes to 44. I'm not going to be able to get behind him.
13 miles an hour. You couldn't run a 15-minute mile.
Kenzie, he said 13 miles an hour for a while.
For a while, I could do 13. I'm walking at 13 miles an hour. I bet I am.
You could do 13 miles. You're not understanding the breakdown of this. That means within 1 hour, you could do 13 miles.
Yep. I could do that.
Almost a half marathon you could do in 1 hour.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think if you ran a mile right now, it would kill you. I think you would actually die if you ran a mile.
Well, maybe we got a challenge here. I can't do it today.
I want to
busy.
see what your mile time is.
I'm busy today. I can't do it today.
Well, you're busy the rest of the week. I know your schedule.
Well, I have jeans. I don't have shorts. I need shorts to run. You want to run a mile in jeans?
I'll run a mile in jeans if you run a mile in jeans. Actually, I wear chinos. I don't own jeans, but same difference.
God.
Can you guys both run a mile today?
Will you run a mile with us?
I can't do it today.
What are you busy?
Well, I could do that. I have to go over my kid's doctor's appointments at 11.
I love how we're all too busy to run a mile.
I mean, I could do it later today. I just can't do it immediately after the show. I could do it around noon.
Okay, because I've got an apartment tour at noon because I got to move. My apartment's too expensive now.
Well, I have a doctor's appointment at 11 for my son. He's got to get a shot.
So what about late afternoon? Do we all have time late afternoon to run a mile?
I'm not
What
getting.
time?
We're not getting back together to run a mile. That's
Tristan's
never
piano
happened.
recital's at 6.
Oh, shoot. I almost swore.
So I could do it. I have a big window. From noon to 6, I
Okay.
could run it.
Okay. I just drove to Elgin Friday for the first time from the Wrigleyville area. It took about an hour and 45 minutes in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You think I'm going to make it to run a mile? Will you come downtown?
I'm not coming back downtown, you a-hole. I already did it.
Well, then we're not running the mile,
Wait,
apparently.
why do you have to go to Elgin? Can't we just use the honor system? Can't you run a mile downtown? Why are you driving to Elgin to run a
Brian
mile?
can't use the honor system in case you have to meet up with him, and then
Okay.
because he's gonna lie.
Yeah.
You trust him more than me?
Absolutely.
Are
When it
you
comes
out of
to
your
his mile-
mind? If I'm
Because
anything,
Case is never, except in his youth. He talks about when he was really young, he was an athlete. But right now, he's not promising he's an athlete.
This is
you
true.
promise now you're an athlete. Case has nothing to defend.
You said you could walk 13 miles an hour.
And Lucas checked in and said, "Are you smoking crack?" No, I'm not. I drink a Fairlife
Brian
protein
and Case,
shake.
you have to be together, but I can do it separate.
I don't trust you for a second. You're doing
You're
it
such
alone.
a lie. Why?
Why do you don't trust me? How can I trust
Yeah,
you?
because you want to. I don't think I can run 13 miles an hour. That's the difference. I don't trust you because you want to lie and be. You think you're Michael Scott. Like if
That's exactly what it is.
if the car drives by my speed at 47.
If I'm anything, I'm loyal and honest.
No.
In my entire life.
Where's I still want a sound machine.
No, you don't get a buzzer.
Loyal.
I'm loyal and honest. Stop making the buzz sound effect. Yeah, there's no way. We'll figure it out. All these listeners are like, God, you guys make so many excuses. It's over. Forget it.
Well, I'm willing to run today and a bunch of times.
Wait, I just forgot. What are we trying to prove with the mile, Rod? I forgot what we're trying to
You
make.
said you could run 13 miles an hour.
Okay.
So you definitely have to run. For some reason now Case and I are supposed to run, even though we don't think that.
So you said you could run 13 miles an hour, and Kenzie said run 1, and you said, well, I can't do that. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
So run 1 mile at 13 miles an hour.
Yes.
How am I going to figure that out? It's going to be.
Well, you have to do math. It's
So-
like finding out the White Sox win projection last week.
So if you could run 13 miles in an hour, we'll take your time. And trust me, if your time's over 15 minutes, we'll know that you can't do it.
No, but I'm not running 13 miles.
I know, but if you run 1 mile, your time. Okay.
You know when a NASCAR is on the track, they've got the miles per hour on the
Yeah,
screen?
yeah.
We're doing that for you.
Okay, so how?
So wait, hold on.
How many-
13 miles in 60 minutes. So 60 divided by 13. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me give you this. Hold
Okay,
on.
figure that out, please.
60 divided by 13.
Someone just texted and said Usain Bolt runs 22 miles an hour.
Okay.
I can do 13 if Usain
No.
Bolt can do 22.
That's basically saying you would have to be running about a 4.5 minute mile.
Do you think at your athletic peak you could run a
The way I've never seen him break eye contact with me so fast in his life. But he looks
Wow.
down so fast.
Isn't that a record? 4.5 minute mile?
You'd have to run it's 4.6, so about a 4.5 minute mile, because if you'd be running 13 miles in 60 minutes, you'd have to run about 4.5 minutes per mile.
The fastest mile ever run was 3:43.
So you have to be.
You're a minute off of that?
So you think you
Not
can keep
even
that
a
up?
minute.
But he said I could keep it up for a while,
And it is vital
which
while
means you could
13.
do multiple 4.5 minute miles.
No, a while could be like for just a minute. Like to get away from the kangaroo. I'm just trying to get away from the kangaroo. I can go 13 to get away from the kangaroo.
You think the kangaroo's only 4 seconds away? Then you've escaped for good?
I think you have better odds of beating a kangaroo to death than running a 4-minute mile.
Yeah, you know what?
Because you know what? If you could sit on it, you'd win.
Damn right. I think I'm going to stay and fight.
You're going to fight the kangaroo instead.
Yeah, I'm going to stay and fight. Got better odds.
Just get behind it.
Just get behind it, duh.
I told you this an hour ago.
He'll go home. I should have listened to you first when we got through all that. That's Brian Kenzie on Q101. Remember, get behind a kangaroo today. So that happened yesterday. Coming up, we have the key word for Fest. We have Weezer. And after Weezer, we will tell you why a kangaroo expert will not come on the show with Brian and Kenzie after needing one desperately. So all that coming up in the next 5 minutes.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Weezer performing Saturday at Riot Fest with Jack White. If you text that keyword HEAT to 312-591-8300, you could win for qualifying in Fest. Tickets for that night if you choose. Blink-182 on Friday, Green Day on Sunday. You choose by qualifying for Fest, and you will get also qualified for the trip to Montreal for the Osheaga Music Festival, and that will feature the Killers, Cage Elephant, Glass Animals, and more. And speaking of elephants, we had a conversation recently just about kangaroos. It started from the story where a guy who worked at a petting zoo went to roughhouse with a kangaroo in his cage. He ended up died. The kangaroo killed him. We tried to get a kangaroo expert on the show to talk about how dangerous they are. Both zoos here have kangaroos, Brookfield Zoo and Lincoln Park Zoo. Case called both of them to get them on the air today to talk about it more. So we have a lot of questions about kangaroos. And Case, how did that go? Explain why I don't have a kangaroo expert in front of me here on the show to talk.
What the hell, Case?
Why isn't there a kangaroo expert here?
Please don't start playing Boys to Men so we don't have to pour one out for my job. Please don't
We're
start playing
about
Boys
to.
to Men.
Well, this better be good. We'll figure it out.
I'm so sorry.
We'll figure out your producing ability because Josie, Kenzie probably would have got this done.
Oh, we would have had a kangaroo in the studio.
Well, Brian did ask yesterday if a kangaroo was listening to please call in.
I know.
We got some kangaroos that did some check-ins, by the way.
That's right, we did.
So why don't we have a kangaroo expert to talk about these questions we have?
Here's what happened. I went home yesterday. First thing I did, called the Brookfields.
Sorry, a little quick. Sorry, it slipped my fingers.
That was just me because you gave me hope, and hope is a dangerous thing.
All right.
I thought for a second I was going to keep my job.
Okay.
Called the Brookfield Zoo. No one answers. I leave a message.
No, this is one of the best zoos in the country.
I didn't say it wasn't.
I'm saying that they probably have a lot of people answering
How
phones.
dare they? I have a membership there. I spent a lot of money in that zoo.
You know what, Kenzie? If you can get a kangaroo expert on by tomorrow, that'd be great.
I'm not a producer.
Don't I know it?
So that sounds like netmyjob.com.
So you're just saying no one picked up the phone at Brookfield Zoo?
They've got a press line. I went to call the person that would do media coordination with at the Brookfield Zoo.
Sure.
No one answers. I leave a message. I say, hi, I'm Case from Q101, Brian and Kenzie. I'm looking to have somebody from your zoo call in. We're looking for an animal expert of sorts. If you call me back, I'd love to give you more information. That's the last bit of contact I've had with the Brookfield Zoo. They have not talked to me. They have not returned my call. They have not sent me an email.
Huh.
I haven't heard from Brookfield.
Okay.
So I call the Lincoln Park Zoo. I love the Lincoln Park Zoo. I go there for zoo lights every year. I have a grand old time. Brian and I ran into each other at zoo lights last year. It was dandy. I loved it.
It's beautiful.
I get on the phone with somebody. Lincoln Park Zoo, they answer the phone.
Oh, somebody picked up.
Somebody picked up. I start talking to an actual human. And I go, I'm Case from Q101, Brian and Kenzie. I'm looking to have one of your employees maybe call in our radio show we're looking for a kangaroo expert. And the woman on the phone very nervously laughs, and she says, well, why do you need a kangaroo expert? And I said, okay, hear me out for just a second.
Did you say it like that?
I did. I said, this is going to sound dumb.
Hold on.
But
Because when you say things like that, you're very aggressive sounding. Am I right, Kenzie?
I'm not aggressive.
But
Well, the problem is you never...
That sounded aggressive.
Shut up. Put the knife down when we're talking to you, first of all. Okay.
He's pounding the table,
Put the
too.
knife
That's
down.
aggressive.
Put the knife down. Listen, you can never set a table with like, hear me out or this. You never put in someone's mind that you may be wrong or you may be crazy. You set the table as if they're going to contradict you, they're the crazy ones. You said it wrong. If you go, hear me out, automatically they're like, oh, you're going to tell me something weird. You have to make them feel weird for thinking you're weird. Like, am I insane? Because they seem confident in this. It's a mind, there is mind superiority, and you're setting the table. You weakened your argument immediately.
I forget how crazy you are sometimes. You're not wrong. You're out of your mind. I love
No,
that.
she's not wrong at all.
I never am like, hey, honey, I have to tell you something. You may be mad. I never say that. I say what I have to say. And then if he's mad, I'm like, I can't believe you're mad about this. You never do that. You're immediately giving someone an excuse to think you're wrong, think you're crazy, think they should be mad. You don't do that.
It's a tone you set.
Well, I set the tone the wrong way. I said, this is going to sound weird, but I need a kangaroo expert. She goes, why do you need a kangaroo expert? I go,
good answer on her part.
So I said, on our morning radio show, we got into a discussion about what would happen if you fought a kangaroo. And she goes, And I...
Right there, she was out.
She was out.
She was totally out right there.
I said we had a long-form discussion about what would happen if we fight a kangaroo, and more importantly, how you would survive a possible kangaroo attack. And then I start to over-explain because I know she's not into it.
God.
You did this whole conversation wrong.
I go, and to be clear, we don't want to hurt the kangaroo. Nobody at Q101 wants to fight and hurt a kangaroo. We just want to know, hypothetically, if we were to get into a fight with the kangaroo, what we would do to escape the fight with the kangaroo.
See, can I tell you what you did wrong?
Well, besides the other everything
Besides
so
all
far,
of it.
everything right now. Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
you should have led with, okay, there's this really, crazy kangaroo story. And we are pro kangaroo, we're pro animals, we're pro your zoo, and we'd love to have an expert on kind of to talk about this, this topical scenario, the right way to act. And then we found out some very interesting facts about kangaroos, like how fast they are. They can't hop backwards. We just want to bring somebody on to talk about all these different interesting things about kangaroos as well as your zoo. And then when they come on, you're like, so we got in a fight with a kangaroo.
So wasn't that very nice how she did that?
So I didn't do that.
Well, no, you didn't.
I know. So
Obviously.
I had this conversation with this woman. I explained all that. She goes, okay, what I can do for you is I can email. I'm going to ask around. I'll ask if we have a kangaroo expert in-house because they have kangaroos. This was one of the questions we had. Does the Lincoln Park Zoo have kangaroos? They do. They have red kangaroos.
Yeah.
These are small.
Red? You say red kangaroos?
That's what they're called. I didn't name them. Don't ask me.
Well, if we had an expert on, we could have asked them the difference between a red kangaroo and one that kills you.
I'm sorry I didn't get a kangaroo expert.
You don't sound sorry. You're yelling at me. You don't sound sorry at all.
She says, keep your phone by you. I'll email you if we have a kangaroo expert. And I have the email that was sent to me late last night. Would you like me to read the email real quick?
Now I'm excited. Good.
Yeah,
I'm happy there's a follow-up at least.
Let's hear this email.
Hi, Case. I asked around, but unfortunately, we don't have anyone at the zoo who can speak on the larger kangaroos that pose a physical threat to humans, as we only care for the smaller red kangaroo here at the zoo. Thanks for thinking of us, though. Don't hesitate to reach out if something else comes up that you need an animal expert on.
Goodbye.
You should have said, we'll take the red kangaroo guy.
That's what I thought. A red kangaroo can still
That's
kick
fine.
your ass.
I'm sure he knows something about kangaroos still. He literally only knows. It's kind of like when you act a doctor in general. Like, I know this is like your field, but like, I got a bump here. Like, I know that, you know what I mean? Like, I know you're a red kangaroo guy, but the big ones, can they jump backwards? Like, you know that.
You over-explained. You were too intense. You scared her, and she gave you a
And you should
blow-off
have left
email.
it broad. We'll take anybody who's familiar with kangaroos from your zoo.
We would have taken a giraffe expert at this point.
You
If
didn't
they've
ask
seen
for a
kangaroos.
No,
No, but you got to know. You got to know how to massage the conversation.
I don't know how to massage anything.
Clearly,
No.
You know, Kenzie, who would have though? Josie.
Josie would have.
Josie would have been really good at
She's
massaging.
so soft and delicate.
Yeah.
Casey's on a vacation far away, alone in Vegas like a loser. Josie's on the phone taking calls all day. Give her a ring 'cause she's the new producer. Casey's gonna lose his job tonight. Watching underground wrestling fights. Yeah, Casey's gonna lose his job tonight.
Goodbye. Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.